we will call our redevelopment commission meeting to order. Roll call, Paul Buning. Here. BJ Deputy. Here. Ken Austin. Here. Christy Ott.
Here.
And Richard Worth. Everyone is in attendance. First point of business is approval of the minutes of the September 2020 RDC meeting.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Old business. The Wayne and South Main Street parking lot warranty. Mr. Shastel, I think.
I can give you an update.
Okay, Chris.
The mayor can too. You want to go ahead?
Steve?
Steve?
If you recall, good morning, everyone. If you recall, last meeting, we mentioned that the Board of Works would ask to turn that parking lot over to the RDC for redevelopment, and the Board of Works did vote to turn it over to the RDC, so I guess the next step would be up to Rob and Lynn to get together, and Rob, I think we talked the last time, it's just a matter of signing it over, it's not a major deal, so.
I have the deed, which actually just requires your signature, Mayor.
Okay.
Well, it's a funky, the rule has changed on witnessing and notarizing, so if I could coordinate that, I think that would.
I'll do that to you then.
Okay.
I'll follow it up with you.
Thanks.
It was approved though by the Board of Works
Yes.
at a previous meeting, so we're just kind of waiting to ratify that today. And then we have a meeting set up later this week to go over the economic development agreement for that property.
Anything else, Kristen?
I don't think so.
Okay, moving on to new business. The new allocation area update. Mr. Shastal.
This project has been creeping along for most of the year, and we're about ready to bring it online. You'll see there's a new updated timeline attached to the agenda that starts with your next meeting in November. And at that time, we would introduce and ask you to consider adopting an amended declaratory resolution. And if you do, then it will go that night to Planning Commission, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, to City Council. And then the most important thing from my standpoint is that you meet a special meeting on December 18th, which is Friday. It's critical that we have that meeting. We've not done a very good job on this project. So if you could all check your calendars for Friday, December 18th at 8 a.m. That would be a special meeting.
Excuse me just a second. Let the record show that Mr. Cuban is here. I didn't see his name on the last minute. And Bob, will you be able to be here on the 18th?
Yes.
Okay.
By doing it according to this timeline, we will be capturing all of the new TIF areas, including the 10-acre annexation that will be complete November 1st. Does anybody have any questions about that?
This is the map that shows the kind of the holdup of this. We started this before, but then this is that 10 acres that Rob just referred to, and so the issue was that had to be annexed after these parcels were annexed, and so it's just a timing issue, so give you everything at the same time. But that's been done now.
So no action is required today. We can start up in November.
Any questions on the TIF and development?
Richard, could either you or Krista just give me a 3-minute synopsis of the the businesses that we're expecting to come in. I know it's been discussed before, but it's fled my memory.
Okay, you want to give us an update on?
Yeah, so this is, on the southern end here, this is where, Interstate Warehousing is. And so they are doing that expansion. They had planned on doing a phase this year, but it was delayed, I think, more COVID reasons than anything. They've done the earthwork for that, so they'll continue that phase. This is that one where it's split between parcels. So we had that issue, we had to find out with the county as far as if we could put those into different TIF districts, which according to them we can. So we worked through that. The other one up here that was highlighted up here, this is just the personal property designation for Energizer. All of our TIF districts, none of the personal property is designated as part of the TIF. And so that is an exception that we were looking at, capturing that personal property at that location. And then to the north is another Sunbeam building that's under construction now, this orange area. And that's a shell building, a spec building that Sunbeam is building, and that's 500,000 square feet. So that's under construction now. And so the reasoning for that was to exclude that and create a new TIF district so that it would have its own timeline for expiration, separate from the remainder of that existing allocation area, since that's been in existence for a number of years, since the 90s. And then here in red, this is GDI. So GDI is looking at, they were planning to start construction this year, and again with COVID, I think that's pushed back till the spring of 2021, but that's 1 million square feet spec building as well here. And they're looking at not building footprint on this additional 10 acres, but truck parking and staging area. So there will be some assessed value associated with that property, which is why we wanted to wait and include that with that allocation area. And then all of this to the north in the purple, this is formerly the Tressler Farm and GR2. This is about 440 acres, and this is also Sunbeam Corporation. And these are, these will be shell buildings as well, and there's just a conceptual plan for this at this point. There's not any definitive approved site plans, but it has been annexed, and they're looking at similar to the Energizer building, multiple million square foot buildings there as well.
Any other questions?
That's all. Thank you.
And it looks like, Rob, that everyone can attend the special meeting on Friday the 18th. And will we have our regular meeting in December or just the 18th?
I would say, because our regular meeting is scheduled for the 15th of December, if it's all right with you, we'll just move that meeting to the 18th instead of the 15th. So if you guys could just mark your calendars to make that change now, I'll make sure we get everything situated to do that.
Thank you. Moving on to the shell building, Don Trivet.
Good morning, everyone. Let me give you an update on the shell building. We still are working with two very active potential users of that building, G&H Wire, to whom we are in the process of renegotiating a proposal to occupy the building. For them, there's a developer who has stepped forward, and they would buy the building from us, and they would lease the building for a long-term lease. And with G&H, the to make up their mind what it is that they want exactly to be in the building. So far, their build-out cost has been enormous. The build-out at this moment would approximate $1.8 million over the cost of buying the building. And they would like, as everyone would like, for the developer to absorb that cost without any remuneration. The developer is not going to do that, and no developer is going to do that. So we are in the process of negotiating with them. It's ongoing, I think it's serious. We're reasonably certain that they are at the same time looking at other property, a possible build-to-suit for them. The problem with that is the timeline for them to do that, and the fact that if they want to do a build-to-suit, somebody else is going to have to pay their cost. They can't offer what we can offer. We also are in their desired location. So it is an ongoing process. It's been positive. I mean, there's no antipathy, or it's just a business deal. The second company with whom we're dealing is a Japanese company. We did make a proposal to them, and up until yesterday, it has been silent, although we were not disturbed by the silence simply because they told us from the very beginning they had about 40 locations that they were looking at, not all in Indiana. But yesterday, fortuitously, we were contacted, and they have decided that this is the premier location that they've looked at to date, and that they are interested in now buying the building. Originally, the proposal we got, they were going to be a tenant, and the same developer who was working with G&H offered to be their landlord, and we made a general proposal to them and didn't hear anything. Now they're talking about buying the building. Fritz is supposed to talk to them either today or tomorrow, and we'll see where that goes. On top of those two active buyers, we have 4 suspects to whom information has been distributed, but it hasn't gone any farther than the information that we have provided to them. We have not made them a proposal. So it's not really, it's active, but there's no ongoing activity. We're waiting to hear back from them, and we stay in contact with them. What we would like to do is to have it was our plan to have an open house. The resurgence of the COVID has changed our mind on that, because we don't feel that it would be worth the time and the money we've spent to do it, to try to get people down here in a cold building. The weather is changing. So rather than a regular open house, we would like to have a virtual open house. We would offer to the participants, the active participants, a $25 bribe, if you will, to be on the call for 15 minutes. We would monitor who was on the call. In order to get their $25, they would have to, participation bonus, if you will. They would have to be on the call the entire time, and Fritz's assistant can monitor that, so we can check and see who's there. The way we're proposing to do it is, we would make individual calls to the 5 largest real estate companies in the city or in the surrounding area. And we would talk to them and meet with them virtually on a company-wide basis, and then have a participation for the balance of the brokerage community on another call. We would offer them, again, say a $25 participation bonus, which they would receive. We were thinking about doing an Amazon gift card. It could be emailed to them. We would anticipate that we would have approximately about 60 people. We can't, right now we're thinking about middle of November of doing this. As part of that bonus, we would also offer for those who participated, we would pull 2 names out of the hat. One of you could do it. I mean, it's not, it wouldn't be a game. It is a major inducement to a $250 Amazon gift card. So we would do 2 of them. So the cost of that would be $500, and the balance of the cost would be $25 per active participant. And we would like to get the RDC's permission to do that.
Don, there was a marketing budget, as I recall, with this kind of marketing budget.
I'm having trouble here.
That's all right, I'm having trouble speaking. I said there was a marketing budget. Will these costs come out of the marketing budget?
Yeah, this would be, we had agreed that we had agreed when we would first listed the property that we would, with regard to any expenditure out of the marketing budget, we would bring it to the RDC for permission to do it. So we're honoring that provision. It would cost us more money, significantly more money, to do an in-person open house. And, we were positive about doing that, even though we have 2 active potential buyers. But with COVID, it would be a waste of money, we think.
Don, a question. With COVID-19, do you feel that a virtual tour of the Shell building is viable in, I'm just gonna say November and December? Is this something that you would have better participation? Indiana's now a hotspot. Would have better participation a little bit, I'm gonna say early 2021. The COVID, I know, has changed a lot of things.
Everything is a guess, Richard. We think that if we're going to do it, we need to do it now. Even if right around the holiday season, it's certainly never, in my history and memory, been the prime time to market anything in the real estate.
And that's kind of my question, does it make more sense to throw these dollars in January or February than it does in November and December?
Well, my answer to that is I think it probably does make sense to do it sooner rather than later, because even if we don't have an enormous amount of activity between now and the end of the year, the brokers are still actively working with clients, and everything picks up right after the first of the year. Now, COVID certainly can change that. If COVID gets worse, maybe that isn't going to be true. But I can tell you as an absolute fact, historically, that in my history with the real estate industry, which spanned 32 years, everything certainly went quiet, Thanksgiving, Christmas. But by the 10th of January, we were flooded. Everybody decides, it makes a New Year's resolution, and they're gonna do things. And presuming that that is maintained, we think it would be because the people will make contacts with clients, and the building will be put in front of an awful lot of people. If we wait until January, for example, not only is the weather bad, but we're really starting, we're just lighting the match. So,
What about the rest of anybody else have a thought?
I'm kind of impartial, I'm not an expert in that field and advertising and such, but to me, I think it would be better to spend your money in the springtime, because if you have activity right now going into winter and COVID spiking and so on and so forth, I think it would be better off to save your money, see how these pan out that you have, and then maybe do it when it warms up a little bit next year. But again, that's just my little 10 cents. I'm not an expert in the field and don't claim to be, Don, so I would lean on some of the other gentlemen and ladies here that have that expertise and try to learn from them.
well, it's not that I'm deeply passionate about doing it right now. COVID has kind of recharted all the waters, and we're not really sure where the currents take us. I understand what you're saying, and this is why we're taking it to the board. It's really your choice whether or not you want us to do it.
Don, do you
We
feel
are prepared, I'm sorry.
No, do you feel pressured that you're supposed to have a virtual open house from this?
No.
No, I think they're just trying to do whatever they can to keep the building fresh in
Right.
brokers' minds, and it's been a few months, and
Right.
I'm gonna move on down. Bob, any thoughts?
I have a lot of confidence in Don and your firm, and if that's what you recommend, I support moving in that direction.
Paul?
I actually agree with Bob. I mean, what will this cost you, like a couple $1,000s?
Yeah, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,500. It could be, if we're successful and we get people on the line, it'll cost us $25 per. It's not a lot of money, either individually or collectively.
I will be.
But we can get in front of an awful lot of people very, very quickly. And we have the mechanism, the company, to do that, and without bothering everybody here doing it. One thing we would like to have is, just as an aside, somebody, if Krista or somebody Krista would appoint, we would do a script and have a member of either the RDC or city government, the mayor or somebody, to introduce the city. And we're talking about a 15 to 20 minute presentation to introduce the city. And that would be good for the city as well as the property.
BJ?
I agree with Don for a couple of reasons. One, he's the expert, knows more about it than we do. The second, if there's a period of inactivity between, say, Thanksgiving and January 10, then I'd like for the hot prospects to have something to think about during that time period.
Okay, Mayor, just listening, would you be willing to help us sell the city of Franklin with this presentation?
I can do that with Krista and Tara.
Thank you. I would go ahead. We need a motion then.
I move we proceed with the marketing as suggested by Mr. Tribeca.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye. If you do your marketing materials, Don, instead of using the word bribe, how about maybe incentive or something like that? And maybe that Brooklyn,
People relate to the term so much more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don.
I just wanted to bring up real quickly, the 40 Linville Way is the website for the address, 40linvilleway.com. And it has on there the brochure, it has a virtual tour. If you guys haven't, I think I tried to bring this up last time, but this is out there. There's a link to it on the city's website in a couple different places as well. Just so you can see that they've already done this as part of their marketing, which I think is great, especially with COVID.
Okay, thank you. Other business, project updates, Krista?
Actually, Mark wasn't able to be here this morning, so the mayor's gonna
Okay,
just
Steve?
give us an overview on some of the current projects that are going on.
Hey, good morning again, and I will say Mark did an excellent job with updates at city council last night. I don't know if I can do as well as he did, however, the roundabout, Westview 44, 144, it's got some stuff that needs to be finished next spring. The plantings, the roundabout that got hit by the impaired driver is about $60,000 damage, which his insurance is working with O'Mara's insurance because that hadn't been turned over to us yet. So it's about $60,000 worth of damage, and they got a laser cut the wall, and that's why it's taken so long to finish that. So next spring, that will be all finished up with the plantings and so forth. South Main Street, it was CenturyLink, did hold it up for about 3 weeks, but they still think they're gonna be able to get it blacktopped in the next couple weeks, get it open for the winter time, and come back next spring and finish up the landscaping and the final blacktop coat. So we will see that road opened up. I guess I should knock on wood, but we're getting told that. With the amphitheater, I think if people went and looked at that, it's moving right along. They're getting a lot done, and they're telling us that they want to have it open by the 4th of July, but I'm holding my breath a little bit and hope we have it open by the fall festival next year. Some of the projects that we're looking at for next year, it's a roundabout at Arvin Road, Hurricane Street, and Commerce. That will be open for traffic. It won't be shut down, so we'll be able to keep the road open for the truck traffic. Also next year, we're looking at sidewalks on both sides of Jefferson Street from Forsyth down through Jefferson Meadows. We're hoping that's next year. And the following year, we keep hearing about Hospital Road and Westview Drive, sidewalks and trails. That would be the following year. So I don't know if I've left anything out. I know Mark took quite a while last night, so. Yandy Street. Okay, Yandy Street is 2022. They're looking next year to put the bids out late in the year and early 2022, start with Yandy Street. Still on pace for US 31 project 2023. I did leave out stoplights at I-65 exit. We're being told next August, September area that NDOT is scheduled to put the stoplights. One project that we didn't mention last night that the state's doing on US 31 by Simon Road, where the funny turn is at, that road is going to be shut down next week. They're going to, because of the severity of accidents, I think we've had in the last month, there's been 2 cars upside down, and the state, along with the city, decided the best thing before somebody gets hurt really bad there is to shut that down, and when they do the 31 project with the J-turn, that would be going out anyway, so. Any other questions? Did I leave something out, Krista?
I think that's enough.
Okay. All right, thank you guys for what you do.
Mayor, the US 31, you said 2023, and that's a 3 to 4 year project.
They're thinking they can have it done in 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. And we did last night at Board of Works, we did go ahead for the feasibility study, okay, to contract with HWC for the interchange at Earlywood Drive. So, and what I've been told by other mayors and firms that do that, as soon as it can probably be built, would be 5 years, but it's in between 5 and 10 years to get that done. So we have to start somewhere, and my reasoning behind that, with all the development that we have going on the east side, it's gonna happen sooner or later. We're gonna have a bunch of traffic there, more than we have now. And with 450 homes being built, plus Young's Creek, and then some other subdivisions that we know that are being proposed, we're gonna see a lot more traffic there. And as we see it right now, traffic is backing up in the rush hours and very dangerous intersection. So I think at some point, as Franklin grows and we plan for the future, that we will need another interchange somewhere down the road. So now's the time to look at that and not sit on our hands and wait. So, yes, sir.
The I-65 stoplights, that'd be both east side and west side?
Yes, yeah, on both sides. And the state is also looking to do some upgrades to the road right there. It's not in too bad a shape, but they'll be resurfacing the rest of the road, probably on down to Jim Black Road, maybe, so. Anything else?
Yeah, from Forest Road and Jim Black Road.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Man, we got a lot of stuff going. Forest Road, Forest Road's under construction now. It's supposed to be done by the end of the year, opened up. May have to come back and do the final paving again next spring. But they're working there now to widen out the Forest Road. It's gonna look more like Commerce. It's gonna be with the ditches and wide shoulders. Jim Black Road, on the other hand, is gonna be a 3-lane road next spring to accommodate the new shell building that's being built there right now. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Christie, you want to give us an update on October cash flow analysis?
Yeah, and you'll notice the September financial reports are not included, and I apologize for that, but Sharon in the clerk treasurer's office that gets that data to me to put those reports together is out. She had a minor surgery, and so I didn't have that information from her to put those reports together, but That would just be updates anyway, so I'll have those for you at your next meeting, along with October's financials. You'll just have 2 months next month. If there's any questions about that, I'm happy to answer those. But so just the cash flow analysis was updated, and that, not a lot of changes here either. You'll notice here we have the $10,000 marketing budget for the shell building, and so we'll, after today's discussion, we'll spend a little bit of that, which I already had programmed in for this quarter anyway. And then down below, just updated some things down here. So we had Forest Road, formerly 525, the right-of-way purchase, that hasn't been, that has been done, so that'll be updated. And then we went ahead and put the next roundabouts in. The mayor mentioned the truck roundabout at Commerce and Carbon, which would be next year, and then the one after that would be at Commerce and Graham in 2022. And then we added the final one at Earlywood and Graham, and that would be in 2023. So those aren't, actually, they're listed here, but it doesn't go out that far. I just wanted you guys to keep those in mind, that that was the schedule moving forward. And then also mentioning Jim Black Road, which the design, that was also added to here as well. This is in conjunction with that development, that Sunbeam building. I think we also call it the Maloris site, so Sunbeam Maloris, and that would be the upgrades to Jim Black Road, and so that would be next year as well, $600,000. And then just keeping in mind the Yandy's construction, and then possible FTC programming. So not really a whole lot to report there. Above we have the Forest Road design and inspection, and then the estimated construction costs. And I think Mark did talk about that last night, is that road did come in under estimated budget, so we were estimated to spend about $675,000. Our portion is probably going to be more around $450,000, so there'll be some considerable savings there just based on that bid. But that is the resolution amount that was approved. So like I said, like I always say, these are very conservative numbers in your cash flow analysis. And then once the project is complete, then what's actually spent, we'll update those. So that's really all I have on there. Are there any questions on the cash flow? As you can see, our ending fund balances are starting to look a lot better at the bottom. So instead of, instead of red, there's no more red. And some of these numbers have confirmed, our lowest balance this year is $943,000. At one point that was down around $100,000. So feeling better about those. Things are looking up. So good.
Any questions? Public comments? Amanda?
She's not here.
Is out here? Rob?
I can just update you on the status of the art craft. We have been operating at 30% capacity. So instead of 625 seats, we are now seating 185 per show. But considering how many theaters are not even been opened yet, we consider ourselves pretty fortunate. We opened up Christmas tickets for sale, and on the first day sold over 1,500 tickets for that. So again, we're doing the best that we can during COVID to continue to bring crowds downtown to Franklin.
Rob, is this new upturn in COVA have any impact for the art craft?
We continue to do all of the policies that we have set forward in terms of cleaning between shows, sanitizing, opening doors, HVAC, all of these kinds of things. We have our eye on this constantly. It's an ever-changing world, so we just adapt to it. But again, we've done what we can during this period of time.
Robert? things are?
I would say, if we took a look nationwide, we are probably in the top 10%.
Thank you.
One of the issues with the bigger chains is they're doing first-run movies. Well, Hollywood and New York have not produced first-run movies, so they don't have content. So that has slowed everything in the entertainment business all over. And because we show classic movies, you know, we have 90 years worth of movies that we can show. And that's what's kept us going, and that's kind of how we started our vision for the aircraft in the very beginning.
Thank you.
Rosie?
Yeah, thank you. The chamber is hosting Carrie Prather on November 12th. We will be at our chamber meeting, and of course you all are invited to come to any chamber meeting at any time. So we're excited about that. We're gonna do our Shop Small is gonna turn into a virtual event, so look for that. We're still gonna try and support all of our small businesses as we always have. So we're excited about that, and I think the most exciting thing is that Culver's opened yesterday, so be sure you guys go out and support them. We had a ribbon cutting for them.
What opened?
Culver's down by the interstate.
It was so packed, we couldn't even get in there last night. It was
Oh, really?
overflowing.
Yes, I want to thank on behalf of Discover Downtown for the use of the parking lot for the farmers market. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you.
Was it a successful
Yes.
summer with everything?
Yes, well, it's smooth.
I noticed most of the people attending were courteous and wore masks.
Yes. Couldn't ask for more.
Okay. Dana?
Just, everything's continuing to move forward, working on the dumpster enclosures, had a slight slowdown on the one over by the art craft, but the one behind us is up and moving, ready to be utilized more, and continuing to work with things for the Public Art Advisory Commission that you'll be learning more about later, and just lots of good things going on.
Anything else? Krista? Ken?
I don't have anything, Krista might.
We had 8 applications received this last round for the FDC. We have one for grant committee today, and then we'll be making those award announcements Thursday morning at the FDC meeting. So looking forward to that. And then just things are progressing with 280 Circle Drive, which is the tax certificate property that we have requested from the county. They've approved that. So we just have to do our legal notice and due diligence there. And then that third parcel that didn't sell at tax sale, we have a closing scheduled for it today. So excited to see that move forward along with 650 Hurricane Street. We do have an option to purchase that contingent on a grant approval through the state. So making some progress with both of those properties.
Thank you. Bob?
I'll direct this at Krista, and it's not intended to be a gotcha question, but I was driving through a community yesterday, and I noticed banners were flying and everything. Do we still have any plans for those?
Yes, Dana's actually been working on that. Do you want to give an update?
Yeah,
Dana?
we, as part of the cultural destination, the cultural district, we've been working on reaching out to different artists. We put a couple proposals out for some potential banners. What we want to do is start out on King Street. As people come in, you know, that gateway is looking so nice. Those banner poles are up. Those are going to be the easiest ones because they've already got done. So we're talking to different artists, looking at some kind of like a theme of a welcome home or something like that to kind of attract people and bring them on in. And then probably the second section that we want to get started, which all this will be done first of the year and in the spring. Obviously, you don't want to put banners out in the dead of winter, but in the spring it'll be around the courthouse, doing some kind of art with the banners around there. And then different things, working with the different nonprofits, such as when the aircraft has something really special going on, or the chamber or something like that, that they would have a designated area as well. So trying to pick some different districts and different areas to promote.
Not sure where the funding for that goes, but as a citizen, I encourage us to try to do that if we can.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we're gonna be having Christmas lights on here before long.
Right, yeah, so that's, I mean, that's part of it too, so we won't be able to get those up until next year.
Okay, thank you.
In the works,
Yes.
more to come. Only
I know it's always,
making.
I know it's always been high on your list.
It's been on my list for too long.
I will mention, Mary, you might mention your street department. We have some street lights out on that corridor coming in from 65 into Franklin. I just noticed them in the morning. Paul? BJ? I don't have anything. If I could hold all of the RDC members just for 1 minute after our meeting, I have something I need to share with you. And if there's nothing else, meeting is adjourned.